Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Sean Smith. I'm sure most of you know me. This is Friday in Focus, special pre-4th of July version. And today we're going to be talking about the silent MedTech expert. I'm going to bring up my slides if I can. This is going to get ugly. You're going to see my desktop and you're going to scream at the number of files that I continuously have open. Where is...
It's more than usual by a few.
Of course, I forgot to upload the slide deck. There we go.
Hey, Sean, I must have missed a little part. So for that that questionnaire, did you want us to post the answers in the chat? Is that what the deal was?
Yeah, you can just write them in a text file and then you can send them to me. We're gonna go over that in a second, but I'm gonna go into slide view slideshow, right? Okay, so first of all, I would love to know how many, if any, of the MLV 100 are here today. And I know that we have MLV number one right here, Angelina. I would like to congratulate her personally and publicly for winning the voting. We had lots of votes. This started out as a little side gig 3.5 years ago. I just looked for 25 people to follow on LinkedIn and couldn't find them. And so I started reaching out to people and asking people who should I be following, right? So if you are on the call, please drop your name and what you're known for, a couple words. Whether you're on the MLV 100 or were nominated, 1 word or 3 words or whatever, 7 words, I don't care what you want to get out of the next hour. That would be awesome. I want to start by framing the fact that almost everyone on this call qualifies as a MedTech expert, whether you think you do or not. And expert doesn't mean I know more than anybody. Expert means I know something about a specific topic, and I have spent thousands of hours working on this topic. I know the topic inside and out, and I know things that ChatGPT does not know, right? And really what we're doing in this call is differentiating ourselves from human intelligence versus artificial intelligence, and how to make that human advantage work for you in a time period where things are becoming increasingly uncertain, right? And so I'm going to go to the chat. So we look at the people who are on the call. I'm here. Hey, please promote Martin if he's not promoted. Quality audits, love to learn, and so forth. So, we're getting lots of comments. Keep the comments coming, who you are, what you do, and what you know a little something about. So we're going to talk about how to share it with people. And this is the silent MedTech expert. This is the name that I came up with for this, is because almost every expert that I know is really not comfortable making a public spectacle of themselves. They really, just want to be known for who they are and what they do and respected, but they don't want to make what they do visible to the world. So what we're talking about here is making your expertise visible in a way that maybe it is and maybe it isn't. And the reason why I'm glad to have a number of the MLV 100 on here is because I want them to help keep me honest. I'm not promising you that this is going to be easy or painless, because frankly, I hate speaking in public. I do not like it. I do not like being the center of attention. I am an introvert. I am very comfortable hiding behind my keypad, right? And so the thing is that what I'm telling you is nothing that I haven't had to face myself, right? And so with that in mind, let's keep things moving. 4 questions to answer. Type your answers in the chat. Your expertise in 3 words, the frustration you answer over and over, one thing you've learned recently that's worth sharing, what's actually stopping you from posting it. I would love to know what's actually stopping you from posting it. You know, Anna is going to share a worksheet. This is the first of 3 worksheets that we're going to share during this session. And this is something that you can print out and answer over the next week, over the next month, over the next year. But these are the questions that are going to help you frame your point of view and form the foundation of what it is you're going to be sharing with people in the future. Now, I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to ask Angelina, what did I leave off here? What else could people add to this list, or how else could they think about framing their ideas? You know?
I think I'll speak from my perspective. One of the things that I always search for is, can I take away something immediate from it? And can I be interested in that content? For myself, I always take into a fact of the regulation is so overwhelming to absorb. And you have to read the regulation daily. I'm not just talking about, oh, a new guidance comes out, because every time you read it, something washes over you that sticks with you. So for me, if I post something, I try to make it so that someone can walk away with an interest, but also to learn something that they haven't found anymore. And everybody, and I see multiple people in attending, I've learned something from their posts. There's a lot of people who, I see Tibor here, Martin, Leo, Chris, Stephanie, so many people on here, Carrie, that have posted things that I've taken away, because information is not just one kind of voice, it's multiple voices. And Sean, I just want to thank you, because you've brought a platform here that has brought people who are just starting into it, people who have been seasoned, and it's a great platform for everybody to contribute.
Wow, thank you. I didn't expect that, and don't feel comfortable with compliments. So we're just gonna
Well, there we go.
we're gonna skip forward. Hey Tibor, how you doing today? Joining us at the end of your workday. Thank you. Is everybody excited for the 4th of July in Germany?
Absolutely. Hi, Sean. Hi, everyone. Great to have you here. Thank you so much for the invitation. Yeah, of course, 4th of July, big thing in Europe and in Germany especially. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Martin, hello. Stephanie, hello. Carrie, hello. Elizabeth, Paul, Chris, Leo.
Yes, son.
Yes. Thank you all for joining. So I want to keep things moving, but I am going to give the other speakers a chance to chime in and keep me honest as we go. If I can find my slides again. There we go. So keeping these things in mind, feel free to add any more in the chat. Now, here's the big question. What does Sean's Medusa logo have to do with any of the things that we're talking about here, right? And one of my favorite books is this book right here, which is 6 Memos for the Next Millennium. It's a series of lectures that Italo Calvino was going to give at Harvard. Unfortunately, he died before he was able to deliver the lectures, or maybe died before the final writing the sixth memo. He wrote 5 of the memos, and they're all extremely well written, and they're about writing. And this is all very closely tied to writing. So lightness, quickness, exactitude, visibility, multiplicity, and then 6 was going to be consistency. And consistency is going to be a theme that you're going to hear from me. But in the myth, Perseus has to kill Medusa. He can't look at her directly or he's going to turn to stone. So he uses the inside of his shield as a mirror, chops her head off, and then puts her head in a bag. But before the head is put in the bag, a drop of blood falls into the ocean. And from the drop of blood falling into the ocean, Pegasus flies out of the water and flies to the top of Mount Olympus. And then Perseus carries the head in a bag to kill his enemies and uses it as a weapon. Now, this metaphor, this myth has so many rich connections to where we are right now. And you can, make the monster anything you want it to be, and you can use the monster, and whether the monster is LinkedIn or whether the monster is AI or any way that you look at it, what I'm here to do is to reframe the challenge into an opportunity and help you understand that everything isn't quite as doom and gloom as it may seem. So the problem is, we're familiar with the problem. Everybody on this call that is a MedTech expert that has said who they are and why they're here. And by the way, we have 83 participants on the call, which going into the holiday weekend is fantastic. The work is in and of itself a full-time job. It is a full-time job. And so now someone in marketing comes along and says, I want you to be visible on LinkedIn. I want you to start posting. I want you to start advertising for our product or service or whatever it is that we do. And I want you to create visibility and income for us. And we're going to attach some revenue expectations to your job. That's the kind of atmosphere that we're in. And what I always tell my clients is, it's weird to me that, a solo entrepreneur or a small company or a startup is somehow expected to compete with corporate giants that have, multi-million-dollar marketing budgets and all of the resources in the world to be creating this stuff. And here you are alone in the world, little Leo Eisner, all by himself, and you're supposed to project onto the world this, thing, this richness of experience. And it's like, yeah, okay. So, and then not to mention the fact that, well, introverts would rather disappear. So what I've been saying all along is technology is not going to be a moat for anybody. As soon as you learn the prompts, the skills, the this, the that, the coding, the platform, someone else is going to learn it. Somebody else is going to learn it better. Somebody else is going to do it better, but the only thing that we have here is to protect us is the community itself. And since I've started this, and Chris, you can keep me honest on this one here, there have been a number of referrals made through this platform, through this group, up to and including the exit this week of one of the people who came on and spoke on this program, showed his technology, and has sold it to a major pharmaceutical company this last week. So kudos for him. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But what I can say is that referrals happen here, trust happens here, and it's a great group. Chris, what do you say?
Yeah, first, good morning. I was off camera and off mic for just a little bit. I'm glad to be here. I think it's one more factor to what you described about having to do the work is that I believe many of us here believe that the work is what speaks loudest. And there are many people who talk whose work doesn't hold up to it, but that's not a reason to not share our story. It's a reason for us to be heard more through through the value we bring and the proof that we have. And I've made that kind of transformation in thinking recently, and I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
Tell us who
Hey,
you
Chris.
are. You.
Oh, nice background, by the way.
Yeah, I was about to give you San Francisco because I'm in San Carlos, California. I'm not truly in San Francisco. I was anchoring for some folks I talked to earlier. Who am I? 30 years in devices and diagnostics. The last 12 to 14 years consulting. Have built a startup and been successful with that and share that experience. So what I do is wrapping all that together, help startup founders and CEOs hit critical milestones like T equals 0, where are we headed, first in human, commercial launch, and raise the right kind of capital along the way. That's the journey I help with as really a trusted guide. Thanks for the
Cool.
opportunity to share that, Sean.
Chris, by the way, was the most nominated person in the MLV 100 competition. So he was not on the original list, but he'll be on it next year. Chris Kelly, give us 10 seconds on why this
Sure.
group.
Just recently, I think it was like 3 Fridays ago, one of the sessions you had asked me in advance if I could say a couple words about AI, just because we had some
Breaking up really badly, Chris, for me. Okay, we're going to come back to Chris and keep things moving for the moment. So who am I? Okay, I'm Sean. You guys know me. Most of you know me. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. In 2000, I got a job as a marketing manager at Thomson Publishing Group. They assigned me the FDA group of publications. I have been doing FDA regulatory ever since. Can't get away from it. I worked my way up to chief marketing officer at an AI startup about 7 years ago. This was, very early in the process. It was a fantastic company. I loved working there. And they're doing really well. It's called Sorcero.ai. Congratulations to them. After I left there in 2020, I decided I was going to start my own marketing agency. 27 years of working full time was enough, and now I work double full time. And so I tried to start a marketing agency. And here's the most important takeaway message from this. When I rang people's doorbell and I said, hey, I'm a marketer, I got all these skills, I got all this experience, they ran the opposite direction. This is the same thing as when you send DMs or emails to people and say, hey, I'm so and so, and I'm a MedTech consultant, and I've got experience doing this, and I can help you do this. It is going to have the opposite effect that you want it to have. Even if you're a product provider like Tibor here with Flynn AI, and you say, hey, I am with Flynn AI, and we build this fabulous platform that's going to help you do X, Y, and Z. And are you interested in a demo? And they're going to be like, oh, hell no. Demo is like, like 99 out of 100 people are gonna decline that offer. So what we're talking about here is if you approach people directly with I do this, it's like being approached by those people outside the supermarket that are like, hey, do you have time for the environment today? No, I absolutely don't have time for the environment today. And so the way to reach them is what I discovered ironically in 2023 was just start sharing, just start talking about other people, just start building community, just start doing anything but saying I'm a marketing consultant. Those words are poisonous. Right? They make people run the other way. And so this is what I'm talking about a reflective shield. You need to then find a way to reflect your expertise to the audience without saying I'm an expert. So this was the thing. When I stopped reaching out to people and saying, hey, do you want to work with me? Do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy that? Do you want this? Oh, I'm a fractional chief marketing officer. That one doesn't work, you know. So that's the story, is like, okay, I felt the pain of being a solopreneur, and what I've learned is that it's really just it's about sharing generously, and about being consistent. I was talking with somebody recently, and he said, Sean, I already know what I have to do. I don't like to do it. And that is the core position of probably most of the people on this call. Yeah, I know what I have to do. Do I want to do it? No. Is it my last priority? Absolutely. Right. So these are the people that I've been talking to, and I've been talking to hundreds of MedTech experts for the last 3.5 years, right? Longer than that, really. But, you know, for the last 3.5 years that I've been running this publication, that I've been doing this, that I've been tracking what works on LinkedIn, that I've been observing what is the most useful stuff, that I've been interviewing the people, is talking to these different types of people that have these different positions, but they don't make their work visible. They'll go and speak at a conference. They won't even record it on their phone, right? Come on, people, right? They do this beautiful PowerPoint presentation, and the 30 or 50 or 100 people in the room that see it, it never sees the light of day beyond that. Okay, well, you created that deck for a specific conference, and you told the conference people they wouldn't share it. Make a new deck from it, you know, turn it around, turn it into an infographic. Tibor is great with infographics, you know. It's like you could probably have, you know, you have a prompt that'll turn your deck into an infographic. You know, the consultant who has built a solid practice, you know, has referrals, they're calling me and they're saying, wow, business is really slowing down. The calls aren't happening the way that they used to. What's going on? Well, I'll tell you what's going on. A lot of the questions that they used to go to consultants for, they're just going to ChatGPT for at this point. And whether or not those answers are right or not, that's where they're going. And this is our reality. And that is your competitor. And that is your biggest threat. But that is also your biggest opportunity. So what we're going to talk about here, and this is the inflection point, is that you need to learn how to do in 5 hours what should take 500. You know, that the amount of reach that you're going to get from doing some simple things are gonna revolutionize your world. And so what I'm teaching you in this is how to frame this, how to frame your knowledge, how to capture your knowledge, how to transform your knowledge or upcycle your knowledge, and how to make it public. Is this a LinkedIn tutorial? No. But I'm going to give you my 10 commandments of LinkedIn. In fact, Anna, you can drop Sean's 10 commandments of LinkedIn into the chat for people to see, you know, and then we're going to do a live build. And I haven't decided exactly who I'm picking on, but I'm picking on somebody on this call. So we're going to go over the 20-minute upcycling method. You already have everything you need. It's sitting in a folder. a transcript, a slide deck, project you finish, a question you answered 20 times, pick one, paste it into Claude or ChatGPT with a simple prompt and run it through the anti-slop editor. I'm going to give you my anti-slop editor. Anna, you can drop that in too. The anti-slop editor. Oh, and if anybody wants a Claude skill version of the anti-slop editor or a markdown version of the slop editor, just let me know. But we're going to share the just write co-work version or something like that in the chat, and we'll share it with you. And then we're going to teach you how to amplify it. And what happens when you do a post? Do you know that if you don't get 10 likes or comments in the first 2 hours, that LinkedIn is going to bury your post forever? So how do you get 10 likes or comments in the first hour? Angelina, I'll send it to people and be like, can you please like this? Tibor, you've gotten these from me. Can you please like this? Why am I doing that? Because I want to, nudge you? No, not because I want to nudge you, because I would do it for you in a second, right? Leo, I would do it for you.
I'd do it back to you.
And so the thing is, yeah, that's a little bit of an engagement pod. Yeah, that's a little bit gaming the system. But the point is that the system is gamed against you. They're going to show your post to 200 of your connections in the first hour. And if you don't get 10 likes or comments, they're going to say nobody's interested in this.
And Sean, just to make a comment there, and they'll take your monthly fees.
Yeah. And they'll try to sell you on boosting your post. Now that's a new charming thing that LinkedIn is doing.
Yeah.
But not to dump on LinkedIn. So the anti-slop editor, what do we mean when we talk about AI slop? Well, I posted about this yesterday. Feel free to put your least favorite thing in the thing. But for me, the most annoying thing that they've done is this passive verb thing. And then the room rested. Like this weird language that AI has come up with that doesn't sound anything like, here's where it landed, here's how it landed, landing, resting, and that sort of thing. So these are all in the slop editor. This is going to help you do this. So now we're going to do the live build. Who wants to be the victim here?
I'll be.
Okay. So what we're going to do with the live build, I'm going to stop sharing just to not disturb you with my desktop.
Sean, can I ask a quick question about hashtags? Why do you say that we should not be using hashtags?
They just don't. They don't do anything.
No?
They discontinued. Yeah, just ask ChatGPT why not use hashtags. They
Sean, can I give 10 seconds on that?
Yeah.
In March, LinkedIn went to an AI to score everything. Hashtags were more like how people organized the filing cabinet of their minds on LinkedIn, and people would search and look, and that's how LinkedIn kind of worked too. Now they have an LLM that figures out who made the post, who wants to see it, what's it about, and the hashtags don't do anything. I miss them for the blue color, the blue bold, and I've read that 0 hashtags is the best. 3 hashtags only is the second best, not less and not more. So that's my view on hashtags. Thanks.
I've been using it to emphasize. I know that they stopped using it to sort, but if I go into the search, I use a hashtag sometimes and give it in the word. That's why I'm just asking.
It won't hurt you. It won't help. It won't help except for emphasis. So if you want to use it for emphasis, it makes the thing look a little spammy. It makes it I use emojis. People have criticized me for my use of emojis. I don't care what they think. I use emojis because it's a text-only format, and it is a way of pointing at somebody to, if you don't look at anything else on this page, look at this. You can think it's as childish as you want to. really don't care. And so yeah, that's my thing. So I need to find my document, and then while I'm doing that, I am going to ask Leo to just start answering the questions. So go ahead and talk. Leo, you know a little something about ISO 60601-4, correct?
-1.
-1, sorry.
I don't know what -4 is.
I just made that
Okay.
up.
Yeah, of course. And standards.
Okay. Now, you've already staked that out. So tell us what's the answer to the next question. I don't have the questions in front of me. Well, yeah, I do. Was a frustration you answer over and over at your work?
How do I test 60601 and how do I write EMC test plans? Because I always mess them up.
Mm-hmm. And what do you answer them?
We can help you with that.
Okay, so it's a long answer. And one thing you learned recently that a peer in your field would find useful.
That's one I didn't come up with right away. There's so many things. That's the problem. And your posts weekly, there's always so many great things out there.
Mhm.
There's too much information out there, like Angelina was saying.
Okay.
But I think that gives opportunity for people to sift through, right? Because if you have information presented to you in a different way from a different person, you're able to find threads that are similar. And so you're learning the regulation that way. I think it's a good thing. But I mean, it could be overwhelming to someone who wants to learn more about the reg, especially someone who's in a startup, maybe a CEO, CFO. They're going to be like, this is information overload.
Well, Leo, how long is the standard?
The standard right now is about 400 to 500 pages, including annexes.
And then
Going forward, the fourth edition is going to be well over 1,000 pages.
That's how you answer that question. And so you would have to break it up into
Chunks,
correct.
little bitty chunks.
Yeah,
Okay.
And trainings are way too long.
correct. And it's way overwhelming. It's ridiculous, in my opinion.
A lot of people's opinions.
Correct.
That's awesome. I love this dialogue that's happening. And so what I want to show you now is that I have been recording that here. And I am going to paste the prompt in after this. So I'm hitting transcribe, right, in ChatGPT. And then I'm going to Shift Enter, Control V, and then I'm going to live build the post from this thing. This is a strong live demo in plain text.
And just to remind people, Sean is recording the session. So, and he's dropped in the chat some worksheets there from Anna.
Okay. So now what we can do is then ask it to build the post. Saw. You know, this is the beginning of how you tell your story. It's like, this is something that I know. this is something that needs to be communicated, and that is the way that I work. Does that make sense to everybody, or is that just like completely confusing?
I like that it was short and concise. The post wasn't a thesis. I think
Yeah, you can take that post and you can be like, yeah, I want to tell the story differently. And I want to tell like a storyteller. I want to tell it in different ways. And we're gonna go through prompts like that. Oh yeah, I'm launching a 5-day sprint at the end of this thing, which I hope some of you will enroll in. But in the meantime, I go back to my slide deck, and where was I?
Yeah, that was helpful, Sean, the way you framed that. I do a lot of my writing on LinkedIn exactly the same way, from my notes to Gemini to Notebook. I use Gemini exclusively.
Okay, I'm just going to share my screen because this is getting complicated here. But right, so here's the deck. Where we get to live build. Here we are. So what you just saw is method. The sprint is how you build it for yourself. 5 days, 1 asset per day, starting from your files. The anti-slop editor is the chat, free. Everything else is in the sprint. So this is obviously where I open it up to you, and Angelina, Tibor, you're 1 and 2 on the list, right? So let's talk about how much time this actually takes. How much time do you spend creating LinkedIn content? Do you have help? How do you get this done and still maintain a full-time job?
I can go first, or Tibor, you can go first. What do you want to do?
Angelina, please go ahead.
Depending if I'm doing posts on my newsletters and my LinkedIn posts, I could spend a good 4 or 5 hours on my Sunday doing this and preparing and pulling, because you have to understand that your content is key here. To the earlier point that you mentioned, Sean, you want your voice to come through, but you also want to give something that is quality. And so, as Tibor will probably go next, is I love his infographics. You could tell someone takes time. Over time, you get faster and faster and faster doing this, but you've had to put some effort into it. So it all depends. A typical, if you're asking for one post, it could be about 20 minutes for me, but this is because I've done this over and over again.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
Tibor,
from my side, I can fully confirm that it's also an evolution over time. So remember 2.5 years ago, when I started to do the infographics and also a little bit more than just once per month posting, one of these posts could take up to 2 hours per post or something like that. Meaning that I spent weekends just to generate content for a week or even for a month or something like that. But Angelina, as you said, when you get into the flow and you know how to reuse some assets, you already know what's working with the community, what's not working, where you should spend more time on, what's a waste of time altogether in terms of content, for example. It simply gets faster. And to be fully transparent here, because I think this is one of the biggest misconceptions, that it's so easy and fast to do it. I mean, I have one person who I'm paying who is supporting me with this content. So while I'm doing all of the main activities of what's the idea, I'm checking everything on the infographics. I get support with the graphics. I get support with checking my DMs, what could be relevant where I need to answer or not. So I think this is usually a big misconception. Hey, you just spend 10 minutes on LinkedIn per week and then you get, I don't know, tens of thousands of followers and you're becoming an influencer. And maybe the other thing I just want to highlight with AI, it has become so much more efficient. So if you look, for example, at my infographics, reproducing those with ChatGPT like 5.1 or 5.2, completely impossible. Bad quality, the design was unacceptable, the content was complete nonsense. Try it now with 5.5. Is it perfect? No, but it's already an 80-20 thing. So if somebody really wants to also start with infographics, there's no need to hire a full-time designer, for example, anymore. And Sean, as you have shown, we are not talking about prompting for 2 hours. That can be a 5-minute prompt, and you're having your first infographic to start out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the kind of stuff that we're going to cover in the sprint is, okay, you have your basic idea, and that's what we outlined with Leo's thing. This is the story that I want to tell. Now we're going to turn it into 8 different pieces of content, and how that multiplies how to multiply your idea with AI. And I think that's really where it's like, you just need one good idea. Does anybody else want to comment on this before we move on?
I just want to mention one thing. There's a lot of people who want to do this, and I encourage everybody, to try this, but stick to something you know. Just because someone knows software and you might have some fragment of an idea of what software, and I can just put a guidance in or a regulation into ChatGPT or Claude, and I can become a regulatory expert. I will tell you, you're going to stumble on your feet and you're going to lose credibility very quick. Stick to what you know. If you're a student learning the reg, talk about your experience learning what that reg looks like. You're going to eventually get that expertise. If you're newly into consulting, give your experiences that you're there. Obviously, you can't talk about certain things that are proprietary, but you can't be talking about things and expecting people to create some sort of connection with you, because people can see that very quickly. If you don't know the reg and know that the AI is just spitting out something that AI is not perfect, you're going to lose credibility very quick, and you're going to lose people that are going to trust what you're posting on LinkedIn.
Hey, Sean,
yeah.
am I coming across clean?
Yes.
I'm not cutting at him, all right? Okay. What I've noticed, I'm getting back into this. I took a 2-year break because I was doing something else. Is I've been able to utilize ChatGPT, I would say just in the last couple of weeks, where I'm going through like all the different resources out there, like device talks. I mean, all the different continual information about our medical device industry. And I'll take articles, and then I've asked ChatGPT, write up something really eye-popping for my intro onto LinkedIn. And in the last about week and a half, it finally got there, because I would clean it up. No, I can't have that. And now I'm getting responses that I've never had before since my last business. And so now it's kind of like, now what do I do with it? That's my problem, is I'm getting like 500, 600, 700, a lot more responses and comments. And it's like, okay. And I do it in advance on Publer so that, because it's like Angelina, every Saturday I'm here all day doing content and other mailer stuff. But now I'm getting responses, and it's like, what do I do with it? Because I don't want to appear like a stalker. I see who views stuff, and it's like, okay, now what do I do with this stuff?
Yeah. So, the whole connection strategy and how to reach out to people, and, how not to reach out to people, that's a whole subject that's covered in the sprint. And absolutely a valid question is like, now what? Right? Like, yeah, I posted on LinkedIn, and that's why I didn't really want this to be like how to post on LinkedIn session, but rather a discussion about where we are as a community, where we're going, and how we can help each other get there together. To Angelina's comment, post about what or post about what other people know. You know, if you don't know anything, say Angelina did a great post and I loved it. You know, Tibor did a great post and I loved it. But you know, what I recommend that people do is, like, every restaurant is known for a signature dish. Figure out what your signature dish is and use that as your door opener, right? This is how you get in the door, is by having something that you consistently post about, which is why Leo is such a great example. 60601, you know, just keep strumming those chords. Yeah, Tibor, go.
Yeah, maybe, and just one comment to add on that. You don't have to choose an absolutely unique angle or niche. So don't be afraid if there are three other people out there already posting about a certain topic or regulation or standard that you cannot choose that anymore. It's the combination of your expertise plus your, I would put it, unique authenticity. As you mentioned, Leo, for example, your style, how you post and you communicate, that's in combination with your regulatory expertise that makes you a unique person on LinkedIn, where I say, okay, he's the 6601-1 guy. I know this is the one person. Maybe there are 5 other out there or 20 other out there, but I don't remember these people for having this unique style. So I would definitely say try to not avoid something where you say 3 other people are doing that, and just be authentic. I know this sounds super generic altogether, but even when I'm following people, I'm like, hey, that's a cool person and cool topics. This is why I'm following this person, and this is why I'm interested in their posts.
Martin, we haven't heard from you. Hi.
So in general, I post stuff that I have to do anyway. So I have to look through regulations and standards. So why not share it? And I use tools to help me do that. And when you see me posting on things like AI, that usually means I'm probably having to do a training or set something up or something in the background. And it's actually a good way for me to build the thing out by sharing it before I go and do my real deck that I'm going to use to train people. So it's a little bit the opposite way to where you started, that someone does this great presentation at an event and you can repurpose it. I actually repurpose my stuff on LinkedIn for the other world. So, and it's also a way, and sometimes I do stuff and realize, the whole thing I did on AI at the beginning, I realized it's too difficult and I have to work from the prompt end forwards. And that was actually all triggered initially by someone who wanted, or an organization that wanted, training on structured prompts. And I'm like, why do people need training on structured prompts? And then from that, I realized, there's a big need there. And that's why I built that out. So this all comes from, is there a need? Am I working on it anyway? And what I'm actually doing, I mean, I do some pretty exciting stuff in my real world life, but that doesn't get shared. And for all sorts of reasons. Mm-hmm. But I can share everything around it.
Yeah, and the line between personal life and professional life is one that I like to blur. Other people like to hold a hard line. Some people have better boundaries than me, and I appreciate every approach to that. You have to decide for yourself what you're comfortable sharing, what you're not comfortable sharing, Stephanie. Muted.
I wanted to say something a little bit provocative here. What I've noticed is I have between 1,000 and 4,000 people that read my posts, but I only have 1/10 of the people actually reacting. And that's a big comparison to a few years ago. And I'm really concerned actually about the freedom of speech and some people being suppressed in their own companies to react to some of these posts. And then on another hand, what was really interesting was a few years ago, I was at a International Medical Device Regulatory Forum meeting, IMDRF meeting, and I wanted to introduce myself to one of the policymakers, one of the people that were implementing MDR. And I wanted to introduce myself, and she says, "You don't need to introduce yourself, Stephanie. I know who you are." And I just got 2 weeks ago, I got one of the people directly addressing one of my posts and saying, "You're wrong." And I said, "No, I'm right." And he said, "You're wrong." So we had messaging going back and forth, but it wasn't on the open public forum. It was more on the messaging of LinkedIn. So I just thought I'd throw that out. Like, I really see a great decrease in the number of people reacting. I do provocative posts. I'm aware of it, but I think someone has to do some talking. Thanks.
It's point of view that's important. Chris and then Leo. And
Yeah.
Angelina had her hand up.
Thanks. I wanna echo a lot of what I've heard here. It's like really building me up and inspiring. I'm getting pretty stoked. So I have taught and used the mindsets of human-centered design in everything that I do. And first of all, optimism. We have about 100 people here, and we're all committed to making patients' lives better. Imagine this, if our post reaches one more person who happens to make a change or it makes their path easier and successful, that's a huge win. So that's why I want to expand my reach. I can talk to only so many people. And then in terms of creative confidence, Angelina said it, you may be on an earlier part of a journey. You have some expertise or maybe you're developing it. LinkedIn is superb at finding the people who are in just your position, or maybe they're just a split step behind you. So have the creative confidence to share what you know and how you know it. And another part of that is it is work. And that's what makes it special for us because if it were easy, AI would have all the followers. AI would have all the engagement. AI would talk to AI, right? People see the value that you bring in. Someone said be human among all the AI. And I just want to share also that you do the work and you learn. I think Tibor was talking about it, Martin as well. You try, you learn, and those are the mindsets of make it, learning from failure, and iterate, iterate, iterate. And just a last point about just direct response to Stephanie. You're so right that when we support each other visibly, we're deliberately inviting our audience or readers or followers into that conversation. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work. But LinkedIn also heavily weights what I'll call invisible signs of support. So, for example, did you know that if you save a post, it tells LinkedIn people are finding this really valuable? So also see more. I mean, just a shallow like saw the post, loved it, shallow comment. LinkedIn knows that. But if you click see more, spend the time to read it, do a thoughtful comment. Or here's my last tip. It's a triple win. I sometimes see a post that's not for me to bring my audience in, but it makes me think of someone in my network who could use it. So I send them I just share it, a direct message. So that's me helping someone I know. It's helping the person who made the post. And it helps me because it re-engages a relationship that maybe I've been away from. So these are the things that we can do. Sean mentioned like in the first X minutes, definitely within an hour. Some people say 30 minutes. Really being there for each other helps spread the message that we all have. And we know, I mean, we're in MedTech. We're not in biotech. That adds a zero to everything you do. We're not in pharma, which adds another zero to everything we do. We're not in AI, investment banking, et cetera, et cetera. We're here really because we have a passion to help people. So let's help each other help more people. End a message. Thank you so much for bringing us together and convening this community, Sean.
I want to make sure that I get to my sales pitch, which I hope you'll all forgive me for. But we're starting a sprint. We're starting it this week. I am charging money for it. Why am I charging money for it? Because I believe that when people pay for things, they value them more. I've given away a bazillion things for free over the last 3.5 years. I have done work for free. I have done a lot of things for free. And this, I think that somebody who's willing to spend $47 on this is going to get a lot more out of it than somebody who doesn't. A note to current MLV founding members, I'm not charging you any more money to be part of this. So rest assured that included in what you've already paid me, this is included. We're gonna work through everything, including a 90-day rhythm that you can then go and implement at the end of the thing. Is it for you? You know, I would even question number one, even if you don't have 10 years of MedTech experience, newcomers have things to share, students have things to share, people who are at the beginning of their journey have experiences which are uniquely their own to share. But, you know, particularly if you have 10 years of MedTech experience, if you're willing to be seen even a little, if you have files, transcripts, or if you're like me and you just blather in to your microphone on your phone and say, this is what I'm trying to figure out today. You know, that's my favorite thing. I call them, you know, AI walks. And I just go for a walk and hit record. You want to be recognized without posting every day. You know, this is not a, and if you'd like to be part of a community that supports you, if you think this is all a bunch of hooey, yeah, I don't think this is for you. If you're, you know, not willing or unable for whatever reason to post and share, then I think this is probably going to be a problem. You spent years building expertise that matters. You need a structure to share it. And this was the beginning. You know, if you'd like to keep going, Anna, I'm going to ask you to drop the links into the thing. The difference between the two is you get a lot more hand holding from me, one-to-one, to work through who you are, what you do, and how you should be present. You know, it's all trial and error. We don't know and until we put ourselves out there what's going to work and what isn't going to work. You know, I hope I didn't do a face plant today. I hope this wasn't too excruciating for anybody, but I would like to you know, go back to the group and say closing thoughts, anything, you know, related to the sprint or related to
where love it. Thank you so much for taking the leadership on this. Tremendously useful. Definitely want to participate.
The last thing that I'm going to say is that if you haven't looked at MLVX.AI, Jose has been you know, busy building in many new features. I think that's really, you know, where this is headed, is how we create collective visibility. Because LinkedIn isn't going to do it for you. They're making it harder and harder to be seen. And I think that, you know, the community is the reflective surface, is the way that you get seen.
To that point, Sean, I just posted it on LinkedIn. I recommend everybody on this call to post that link on LinkedIn as well, because we support each other doing that.
I very much appreciate that. We had about 300 people signed up for today. We got nearly 100 on the call. And so I hope you got something out of it. If you learned something today, or you just, did everybody get the documents? Were you able to download them? Because we'll send them after the fact as well, links. But yeah, I hope this was worthwhile. What's funny, you know, tell you one funny story before we go. When I talk to people about, oh, come on, MLVX and share your expertise on something, I just tell them not to be nervous, that it's not any big thing. They're just running their mouth talking about their area of expertise. And I was so nervous this morning, so incredibly nervous about doing this. So I want to thank you all for showing up on the day before the 4th of July.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank
You
you very
did
much,
great,
man.
Sean.
Thank
For
you.
someone who
Yeah.
Thank you
was
so
nervous,
much for
very
inviting
smooth.
us.
Thanks.
You didn't show it, Sean.
I appreciate
By
that.
the way, Sean,
If
that
you were,
black and white photo, that marketing, that is like gorgeous. Oh my gosh. You nailed that professional black and white photo. So
Phenomenal.
artistic.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Sean,
if you
whoever
were
did
nervous, nobody noticed. You sure fooled me if you were nervous. Nice job, man.
that.
Yeah, no, terrified. It's
Stop it.
no,
Get over
channel it,
yourself.
keep it and channel it. I mean, whatever, as long as it doesn't cause you negative reaction, right? And Sean, you came across, when we talk to doctors about what we're trying to build for them to help patients, they can tell right away if we're on the same mission and we have the right heart. And you are the same in how you think about supporting people as a partner. And you're providing so much value in what you are offering here that it's a gift that you're giving, right? You're not selling something, you're providing an opportunity, a value, a gift. And so it's a big addition to the community. Thank you for that. And by the way, I'm in. I put it in a chat. I'm in for the sprint plus strategy. Thank you for that. It's going to help me a lot.
And Sean, you haven't talked about the MLV AI at all. And I've been using it, and all I want to say is Chat GPT and all of that have nothing on the MLV AI that you and Jose have been building. So I just need to talk about that since Jose is not
a
here.
question, just go in. You're allowed to ask questions every day for free. It doesn't cost you anything, and it works so much better
Anna,
than any of the LLMs.
correct.
Do not underestimate Jose. He
Please
is
do not underestimate Jose, because Jose is, and he didn't, I mean, good gracious, but can you have Anna please put the link in for it? I put it in up there, but Chat GPT and whatever it is, Gemini and Copilot and all of that other stuff. This platform is specifically built for regulatory and quality and digital and software all around our community. And so it doesn't have all of this other noise from all the other industries that are in there. And it specifically pulls from our guidance documents from our industry only. So you're not getting another set of noise. It may have guidances that are not specifically up to date. So if you have the ones that are most up to date, like I every time I'm in there, like it had the version 6.2 for the E-Star. So I just updated it to the 7.0, which is coming into force as of the end of July. So right now, the FDA, for example, for 510Ks is still accepting that till the end of the month, but you have to go to 7.0 after that. And if you are doing any 510Ks right now, it is a pain in the butt with that stupid PDF, in my opinion, to add in all of your documents that need to go in there because it's slow as molasses. Anyway, I would recommend anybody to use it. It is a paid platform as you go into how many questions you're asking it for a day, but they do allow you to go in daily and ask questions.
5 questions a day for free.
Try it. It doesn't hurt you. If you're using all these free other ones, good gracious, this one's not going to mine your data and keep it. So.
No, it's just to give you a preview of ultimately where we're going, is that what I want to do is get a cohort of people who are using this platform on a regular basis and uploading their slide decks and uploading their articles and uploading their infographics and uploading all that information so that they become the source, that MLVX becomes the source that the LLMs are looking to for MedTech answers.
Correct.
It's
Love it.
It's kind of a Reddit channel, and then adding forums to that. I'd love for there to be a cybersecurity forum. I'd love there to be an EU MDR forum. I'd love there to be an IMDRF forum. I'd love for there to be a human factors forum, etc. So, it's
all of Jose's software stuff and all of the books he's written, which he gives away for free on LinkedIn as well. But sorry, Sean.
The root of this is not technology. The root of this has to be the community itself. And on that note, I want to thank you. We've run 5 minutes over. We could talk about this, forever. But again, thank you for your time. And next week, we are having Marcus Emney from a Compliance Studio come on and talk to us about what happens when AI takes over regulatory affairs, something like that. And he's going to be talking through that and showing his solution. And I hope that you all can make it, because I think it's going to be a really, really interesting conversation. Okay. Thanks. If anybody needs to get a hold of me, just find me on LinkedIn or send me a message or whatever. And, we're here to help. Thanks all. Take care.
Thank you, Sean. Happy 4th.
Thank you so much. Happy 4th of July.
Hey, and thanks especially to the MLV 100 people that joined, and everyone else that was here today. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Want to connect with the community? Watch the replay and meet people on MLVX.AI.